There are moments in a person's life when the air itself seems to thicken with expectation, when the ordinary ticking of time begins to sound like the measured steps of something approaching. You may not see it yet, and you may hardly dare to believe it, but you are standing in such a moment now. The silence you have been walking through has not been empty. It has been full, heavy with unseen preparation. What you have called delay has been design, and what you have mistaken for neglect has been careful arrangement. Long before you named your need, before you whispered your prayer in the quiet of the night, the answer was already being set in motion. It is a curious thing about provision, it often announces itself only after it has arrived. Before that it works invisibly, beneath the surface, like roots spreading through dark soil where no one applauds their growth. You have felt the pressure of scarcity, the ache of counting what remains and wondering how long it will last. You have learned the discipline of stretching, of making do, of telling your heart to be content while your mind kept asking how. Yet every one of those moments was teaching you to see with clearer eyes, to understand that your worth has never been measured by what you hold in your hands. There is a quiet miracle unfolding, one that does not shout its name from the rooftops. It is not flashy, nor is it reckless. It is deliberate. It has weighed every detail of your life, every lesson you needed to learn, every strength you had yet to discover. What is about to be released to you is not merely money, not merely relief from bills or burdens. It is provision with purpose, increase with intention, a supply that arrives carrying wisdom alongside it. You have wondered why the doors did not open sooner. You have replayed your efforts, your sacrifices, your honest labor, and asked why the harvest seemed to belong to others while your own field stayed bare. But harvest does not come because the field complains, it comes because the season changes. And seasons do not ask our permission before they turn. They arrive when the time is right, when the soil has been prepared, when the roots are deep enough to hold what will grow. If you could see the full story, you would understand that an early release would have been a burden rather than a blessing. You are still learning how to carry weight without letting it crush you, how to receive without letting pride take the seat of gratitude. You are being shaped in ways that abundance alone could never accomplish. The waiting was not punishment, it was protection. Now something is shifting. The pressure you have felt is not the pressure of loss, but the pressure of change, like the moment just before dawn, when the darkness seems most certain, yet the light is already on its way. You are closer than you think. What is coming will not arrive as chaos, but as order. It will settle debts of more than money. It will restore peace where anxiety once lived. You will breathe differently. You will sleep differently. You will think differently. Do not imagine this miracle as a sudden flood that sweeps everything away. Think of it instead as a steady river that knows exactly where to flow. It may come through opportunities you did not expect, through conversations you almost missed, through ideas that rise quietly in your mind and refuse to leave. It may come through restoration of what was lost, or through a path entirely new. However it arrives, it will carry with it a sense of rightness, as though pieces long scattered are finally being set in place. There has been a refining in you, a stripping away of illusions. You no longer believe that money alone can save you, nor do you despise it as something unworthy. You are learning its proper place, its role as a servant rather than a master. That understanding is part of the miracle itself. For provision given to a heart unprepared often becomes a weight, but provision given to a heart that has learned humility becomes a tool for good. You may still feel fear when you think of your finances, still feel that tightening in your chest when numbers do not add up. Do not be ashamed of that feeling. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means choosing trust in the presence of it. Each time you have chosen to keep going, to remain honest, to resist despair, you have been aligning yourself with what is now ready to be released. There is also this to understand. The miracle is not only for you. What flows into your life is meant to flow through it. You have been shaped by lack so that you would recognize need in others, so that generosity would not be a theory but a lived reality. The coming increase carries with it an invitation to become a channel, a quiet answer to prayers you may never hear spoken. You will notice Changes first in small ways, a burden lifted here, an unexpected opening there, a sense of favor that cannot be explained by effort alone. Do not dismiss these beginnings as coincidence. Small streams become rivers, and rivers reshape landscapes. What begins as enough will grow into more than enough, not because you grasped at it, but because you were ready to steward it. Remember how often you have stood at the edge of hope and told yourself not to expect too much, just in case disappointment returned. That caution was understandable, but it is no longer necessary. Expectation now is not foolishness, it is alignment. You are not being asked to demand or to strive, but to prepare your heart to receive without panic and without guilt. There will be voices, even your own at times, that tell you this is too good to be true, that nothing ever really changes, that tomorrow will look like yesterday. Those voices are echoes of past seasons, not prophecies of the future. They speak from memory, not from promise. You are allowed to outgrow them. As the release approaches, you may find yourself being called to act with unusual clarity, to let go of certain habits, to step away from patterns that kept you small, to say yes to responsibilities that once felt overwhelming. These are not tests designed to make you fail, but invitations to step into a larger story. What is coming requires space, and some things must be set down to make room. It is important, too, to guard your imagination. Do not reduce this miracle to a single number or outcome. Provision often exceeds the boundaries we place around it. You have been thinking in terms of survival, but the coming season speaks of stability, creativity, and impact. It speaks of building rather than merely enduring. When the release comes, and it will, you may be tempted to rush, to fix everything at once, to make up for lost time. Resist that urge. Let wisdom walk alongside enthusiasm. Let gratitude shape your decisions. Remember the lessons learned in the lean days, not with bitterness, but with respect for what they taught you. There is a dignity returning to you, one that was never truly lost but temporarily obscured. Financial strain has a way of whispering lies about worth, about value, about significance. Those lies are losing their hold. What is about to be released into your life will speak a different language, one of affirmation and responsibility, of trust restored. Even now, unseen arrangements are aligning. What felt random is becoming ordered. What felt withheld is being prepared. You are not late, and you are not forgotten. The timing has been precise, down to this very moment, down to this breath you are taking now. Stay attentive, stay humble, stay open. The miracle does not require you to shout or to prove anything. It requires you to recognize it when it arrives, to receive it with steady hands and a grateful heart. The door is opening not because you forced it, but because the time for opening has come. And as you stand here, on the threshold of change, let your heart be still enough to hear what the noise of worry once drowned out. There is a quiet assurance settling over you, a sense that you are being carried rather than abandoned. That assurance is not imagination, it is preparation. What you have endured has not been wasted. Every moment of uncertainty has carved space for trust. Every tear has watered the ground where provision will grow. You are stepping into a season where the question will no longer be whether help will come, but how you will respond when it does. Hold this moment gently. Let it sink in slowly. You are not chasing a miracle. You are meeting one that has been moving toward you all along, patient, deliberate, and ready to be released at exactly the right time, into exactly the right life, with exactly the right purpose unfolding just ahead, continuing forward with a rhythm that has not yet finished speaking, not yet reached its fullness, still moving, still revealing, still drawing you onward as what has been promised begins to take shape in ways you are only just beginning to perceive. As the unseen becomes tangible and the long silence starts to break, softly at first, then with growing clarity, inviting you to walk further into what is now opening before you, step by step, breath by breath, without rush and without fear. As the story continues to unfold, there is a particular kin, of strength that grows only in the shadows, the kind that cannot be taught in abundance but is learned through endurance. You have carried questions that had no immediate answers, carried responsibilities that felt heavier than your hands were meant to bear, and still, you did not lay them down. Even when your faith felt thin, you kept it alive by the simple act of continuing. That continuation mattered more than you knew. It formed in you a steadiness that will soon be required, not because trouble is returning, but because blessing itself demands balance. What is approaching will not erase your memory of need, nor should it. Those memories will become guides, reminding you how to remain grounded when circumstances change. You will notice that your reactions are different now. Where once you panicked, you pause. Where once you grasped, you consider. This change did not happen overnight. It was formed slowly, through repeated choices to trust rather than collapse inward. You were learning how to stand upright long before the ground beneath you became firm. You may still find yourself glancing backward, measuring today against yesterday, half expecting the old patterns to return. That reflex is understandable. When scarcity has been a frequent companion, abundance can feel unfamiliar, even suspicious. But familiarity is not the same as truth. Just because something feels new does not mean it is wrong. Often it means you have entered a wider room than the one you have been living in. There will be moments when you are tempted to explain away what is happening, to call it luck or coincidence, to protect yourself from disappointment by refusing to name it as provision. Yet denying a gift does not make it safer, it only makes gratitude harder. Allow yourself to acknowledge what is unfolding. You are not boasting when you give thanks, and you are not naive when you recall. Nice help for what it is. The coming increase will test your inner life as much as the lack once did. It will ask whether you can remain generous without fear, disciplined without anxiety, hopeful without arrogance. These are quiet tests, unnoticed by others, but deeply formative. They shape not only what you have, but who you are becoming as you hold it. You will discover that peace is one of the greatest forms of wealth. The quiet confidence of knowing that needs will be met allows creativity to return. Ideas that once seemed impractical will begin to feel possible. You will find yourself thinking beyond survival, beyond the next bill or obligation, and into questions of growth, of contribution, of building something that lasts. This shift is not accidental. It is a sign that your internal landscape is changing alongside your external circumstances. Do not rush past this transformation. Let yourself feel the relief without guilt, the joy without apology. You have not taken from anyone by receiving what is meant for you. Provision is not a zero-sum story where your gain requires another's loss. There is room enough for many to be sustained, and your life is one of the places where that truth is being demonstrated. You may notice relationships changing as well. Some people will celebrate with you sincerely, glad to see your burden lifted. Others may grow distant, unsettled by changes they do not understand. Neither reaction should surprise you. Growth always rearranges the furniture of one's life. What matters is that you remain true to the values shaped in you during the waiting, not swayed by either praise or misunderstanding. As the flow increases, you will be invited to make choices that reflect who you trust and what you believe. Not every opportunity that appears is meant to be taken. Discernment will become as valuable as diligence. You are learning to stand not only to urgency, but to wisdom. This listening is part of the miracle, a refinement of perception that keeps you aligned with what truly serves your life and the lives connected to it. There will be moments when the memory of old fears resurfaces unexpectedly, like echoes in a large room. A sudden expense, a delayed response, a temporary uncertainty may trigger that familiar tightening in your chest. When this happens, pause. Remind yourself that a momentary question does not undo a larger pattern of provision. The story is moving forward, even when a single page feels unclear. You are also being taught patience of a new kind. In scarcity, patience is about enduring. In abundance, it is about stewardship. It asks you to wait, not because there is nothing, but because there is something worth tending carefully. This patience honors the gift by allowing it to grow in healthy ways rather than being consumed by haste. Your sense of self will continue to evolve. you will find that you no longer define yourself primarily by what you lack or struggle against. Instead, you begin to see yourself as someone entrusted with resources, ideas, and influence, however modest they may seem at first. This shift carries responsibility, but it also carries dignity. You are not merely reacting to life anymore. You are participating in shaping it. The miracle unfolding in your life is not isolated from the larger world. It is part of a tapestry of provision, where one person's stability becomes another's support, where generosity ripples outward in ways that cannot be traced back to a single source. You may never know the full impact of what flows through your hands, but that does not diminish its significance. Quiet acts of faithfulness often have the longest reach. There will be days when you forget how far you have come, when the new normal begins to feel ordinary. That is, not ingratitude, it is human. When this happens, return gently to remembrance. Recall the nights of worry, the prayers whispered without confidence, the hope held together by habit rather than feeling. Let those memories deepen your appreciation without pulling you backward into fear. As your life steadies, you may feel a renewed calling to trust not only for yourself, but on behalf of others. Your story becomes a living reminder that waiting is not the same as being denied, that silence does not equal absence, that timing often carries more wisdom than immediacy. Without preaching, without insisting, your life begins to speak these truths simply by being lived. You are learning that faithfulness is rarely dramatic. It is found in consistency, in choosing integrity when shortcuts are available, in maintaining compassion when it would be easier to withdraw. These choices do not always feel significant in the moment, but they accumulate, shaping a life that can sustain both hardship and blessing without losing its center. The sense of release you are approaching will continue to unfold in stages. Some changes will be immediate and obvious, others will reveal themselves slowly over time. Do not measure progress only by speed or scale. Depth matters as much as distance. What is being built in you is meant to last, not merely to impress. You may find yourself revisiting old dreams with new eyes. Dreams once abandoned as unrealistic may now appear within reach, not because the world has changed, but because you have. Your understanding of possibility has expanded. You see pathways where once there were walls, options where once there were only limits. This vision is part of the provision, a widening of perspective that precedes tangible outcomes. At times you may feel a quiet awe at how seamlessly things begin to align. Pieces that never seemed to fit now rest together, naturally. Timing that once felt cruel now appears precise. This realization does not erase past pain, but it reframes it, allowing you to see it as part of a larger narrative rather than a series of disconnected losses. You will also notice an invitation to rest. True provision includes rest, not as an escape, but as a recognition that your worth is not measured by constant effort. Learning to rest without fear is one of the most profound shifts you can experience. It signals trust not only in provision, but in the one who provides. As you continue forward, remain attentive to the quiet guidance that has carried you this far. It will not always come as certainty. Often it arrives as a gentle nudge, a sense of peace or hesitation that invites reflection. Honoring this guidance keeps you aligned with the deeper purpose of what you are receiving. The story is still unfolding. What you see now is not the final shape of things, but the beginning of a new chapter where stability replaces strain, where trust replaces tension, where provision becomes a context for growth rather than a source of fear. You are learning to live in this unfolding, not rushing ahead to demand conclusions, not clinging to the past for safety. Stay present to what is emerging. Let each step teach you how to take the next. There is no need to hurry the narrative, it knows where it is going. The miracle being released into your life continues to move, continues to shape, continues to invite you deeper into a rhythm that has not yet completed its phrase, carrying you forward into moments still forming, still opening, still waiting to be met as you walk on, attentive and willing, into what comes next. So stand now without trembling, not because uncertainty has vanished, but because trust has taken root. Let what is arriving find you steady, grateful, and awake to its meaning. You have not merely survived the waiting, you have been shaped by it, prepared in ways you could not have designed for yourself. What unfolds next is not an ending but a continuation, a living testimony that provision arrives with purpose and timing that does not fail. Walk forward with open hands and a settled heart, knowing that what has begun will keep unfolding, that what has been released will keep working, and that your life, once defined by strain, is now learning a new language, one spoken in peace, responsibility, and quiet confidence as the story carries on beyond this moment.